to the Tax Reform Act. According to him, what was gazetted and published was exactly what the National Assembly passed. So you can also see that making headlines this very morning. Then another thing you will see making headlines is a step taken by ADC. ADC actually set up 50-member committee called I think Policy and Manifesto Think Tank. This very committee member, they are going to sit together and develop a policy and a manifesto for the party. And guess what? Some persons who are not members of the party, their names were listed, and they have been talking. And one of them is the ED of EIE, that is in North Nigeria. Her name came up there, and she was asking that she never knew that she has joined a political party without her consent. So some of these things we are going to see on paper this very morning, and of course the press conference which was granted yesterday by the governor of Anambra State regarding his effort to ensure that Monday sit at home ends in Anambra State. It's also it also made headlines on various newspapers this very morning. So by the time we begin this very conversation, you get to know more about all this development. So you stay with us. Okay, so we'll begin with the headlines we have on Vanguard newspaper this morning, and of course, Vanguard has a couple of them. The first headline we have here says Tax Reform Act, no adulteration, Senate. The story is on page 8 of Vanguard. Sharia Council to INEC, we won't accept compromised elections in 2027. The story is on page 26. And guess what? What is the grounds of the Sharia Council? There's something they allege that for the fact that the INEC chairman was the one who authored that very document, that it raises a question about his integrity. We'll talk about this later. This one says Tinubu Obasanjo mourn as influential businessman. Ojora dies at 93. The story is on page 7 of Vanguard newspaper. Economic reforms driving political stability, intergovernment synergy. Bagudu. The story is on page 21. 2027, Oyegun Otomi Lukman to lead ADC policy manifesto think tank. The story is on page 8. Makoko Oworon Shoki demolition. Protesters tear gassed, arrested in Lagos. The story is on page 15. And then the big story here says battle for Kano. Kwankwaso blows hot. Yusuf digs in. And the story has some riders. One says Abba will regret leaving NMPP. Kwankwaso governor makes fresh appointments to replace Kwankwaso's loyalist. I'm open to reconciliation with Kwankwaso Ganduje. And Tony, interestingly, I don't know if you saw that very part of the interview which Kwankwaso granted, where he talked about how he took Yusuf to the houses of Supreme Court justices. We'll talk about this. Because you might be asking yourself, why would he take Yusuf to the houses of Supreme Court justices? For what? Okay, so these are the headlines we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. So we have to cross over to the next paper we have this morning, which is the Guardian. And the Guardian has some interesting headlines. The big one here says, despite demand, 2.5 million meters may rot away as FG Disco straight blame. The story is on page 6. I'm still shocked by Yusuf's defection to APC, says Kwankwaso. The story is on page 3. Senate to debate Electoral Act Amendment Bill today. The story is on page 3. Senate confirms tax reform law intact. The story is also on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Oshun appoints LG officials as Argon factions, BK over control. Check the story on page 5 of the Guardian. Police disperse protesters over demolition of structures in Makoko. The story is on page 7. And then this one says, Sokoto airstrike reopens sovereignty debates as Akpabio Ningi differ. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Sanwo-Olu urged to intervene in Oloja's two dispute. The story is on page 5. And the last headline on page 4 of the Guardian says, telcos risk $8.85 million fines over poor telephone service as NCC plans sanction. And if you ask me, I will tell MCC to come as quickly as possible. Because where I reside now, of course, I never for one day complain about network coverage, but this time around, if I stay in the sitting room, I can't have network coverage until I get into the living room. And I'm asking myself, what happened? What happened to this network infrastructure that these days you can't even use your phone to stream anything anymore? So let's see how NCC gets to make them to sit up and improve on their infrastructure. Then over to Tribune newspaper. And this one says Naira strengthens to record 1,400 Naira per dollar at official market. That story is on page 5. Adekunle Ojoro dies at 93. The story is on page 4. And above the nameplate of the Tribune newspaper, Osun local government crisis. Tinubu should call Oyetola to order Adeleke. That story is on page 2, and it has a rider says court sacked APC chairman, lack mandate to stay on in councils. Police arrest 6 suspects over 7.75 billion naira telecom fraud. Recover 2 residential houses in Kano, 2 mini plazas, 400 laptops, 1,000 mobile phones. The story is on page 28. APC governors meet NWC. The story is on page 24. And it has a rider endorsed timetable for convention, commenced ongoing e-membership, or rather commend ongoing e-membership. The story is on page 24 of the Nigerian Tribune. This one says, man laments energy costs as P2B knocked Tinubu over electricity stability. That story is on page 2, and it has a rider that says more than 676.6 billion naira spent on alternate energy cost in first half of 2025. Manufacturers are the ones who are saying so. And this one says, sit at home, Soludo vows clamp down on more markets. The story is on page 20. Insecurity, 2 Kwara LGAs declare 24-hour curfew. You can read the story on page 6 of the Tribune. Police tear gas anti-demolition protesters at Lagos Assembly Complex. The story is on page 20. All rich community RAP 6 FG intervention over rift between Ondo, Ogun. That story is on page 20, and that's the okay. These are the headlines we have on the front page of Tribune, and next will be the headlines on the okay. That should be on Punch before we get to begin our analysis. Okay, so let's look at the headlines we have on the Punch newspaper. And the big story there says, outrage over police crackdown on Lagos anti-demolition protesters. The story is on pages 4 and 5, and it has a rider. Police tear gas protesters at Lagos Assembly, make arrest. Activists, right groups slam police. You can see the picture story of that very protest. You see people who are holding different placards during that very protest. And this one says 2027 APC moves to manage defection gains, internal crisis. The story is on page 2. A gunman abducts pregnant woman in Ondo community attack. The story is on page 4. Nigeria earns 55.5 trillion naira from crude oil sales. That should be in 2025. Yes, the story is on page 7. And this one says, Dear Zani lavished over 4 billion naira in London luxury store. UK prosecutors. The story is on page 3 of Punch newspaper. And the final headline we have this morning on this front page says, NEU PRC opens 50 oil blocks for bidding. That story is on page 9. And with that, we conclude the headlines we have on the front pages of 4 newspapers this very morning. And next will be for us to open conversations on the topical development. Stay with us, right back.
listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. It's 9:30 a.m. and you are listening to the Polity. My name is Franklin Ebekanda with Antonio Lisambeki this very morning on our conversation. Don't forget we are live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Get on that very page, share the story, share the video, like the page, and also follow. And as well, drop your comments on issues that are going to emanate this very morning. We also live on our Instagram and YouTube channels, Udala Radio. Let's get interactive on this platform. So, Tony, I will begin with what is playing out in Kano State. Of course, it's no longer news that the governor of Kano State, Yusuf Abba, has moved over to the APC, or if you like, you can say he had returned to the APC because he was of the APC bloc before he moved to the NNPP to contest for the election. And it's no longer news that, of course, he leveraged the followership of a Kwankwasia group led by Ravi Kwankwaso for him to become the governor of the Abra State. But as he might have seen under light somewhere else, he chose to move to the APC, and it took him some time for some time of consultation before he was able to make up his mind, or before he was able to make a decision. In fact, he even met with the president, and from what we gathered, that one of the things he was asking for was that he should be guaranteed an automatic ticket for him to defect to the APC. And from what we gathered too, he was asking that it should be written down somewhere, so that would be a leverage for him by the time, if any issue is going to emanate. At the end of the day, if that was guaranteed or not, we cannot say. All we know is that he finally defected with some members of the State Assembly, some members of the House of Reps, and local government chairmen in that very state. And ever since then, Kwankwaso has been talking about how he was betrayed and how bad he has felt over the action he was taken by Governor Yusuf Abba of Kano State. So far, this defection, how do you see? Do you see it as a betrayal on the part of Yusuf, or he did what he was supposed to do for political survival?
You have to start by asking what is a betrayal. It's important that we understand it from that very context, and if we do understand what a betrayal is on the context of what we are going to examine it, possibly it will help us to digest the context in question, and then the accusation and counter accusation. So in any case, we have explained the relationship between these two men before now. This is not the first time we have talked about it, but for the benefit of hindsight, and for those who possibly may not have listened to that very edition of Polity, we're going to do justice to that. But betrayal, generally speaking, is when someone you trust deliberately breaks that trust in a serious way. For me, that is betrayal. And it also usually involves loyalty being violated through actions like deceit, disloyalty, abandonment, or sharing what was meant to be protected. If you look at it from this context, breaking trust, which is never unintended but intentional, where you break loyalty, where you also put in or try to abandon or share what was meant to be protected. So if you look at it from that very context, you could say that yes, there is a betrayal. There is no doubt. Let's take your mind back to when these two men met. We are talking about Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and Yusuf. Both of them from Kano State. Both of them are from Fulani ethnic background. And if you look around, you can also understand that they have shared a lot in common. They have a relationship spanning over 40 years. I recall that both of them met and began their professional and political associations in early 80s. they worked together as civil engineers at the Water Resources and Engineering Construction Agency in Kano. That's Water Resources and Engineering Construction Agency. I think it's known as WRECA. That was in Kano many years ago. And their relationship for me evolved from colleagues to mentor protege. Who is mentor? Kwankwaso. Who is protege? Yusuf. And when Kwankwaso left that Water Resources and Engineering Construction Agency, Yusuf followed him closely. Both of them are civil engineers. Profession brought them together, but they are from Kano State and they are born to different local government, because I know that Rabbi Musa Kwankwaso is from Madobi local government area in Kano State. Specifically Kwankwaso village, that's the name of his village. And I know very well that Abba Yusuf is from Gaya local government area in Kano State, but he was born into the Sulibawa Fulani clan, a ruling class family in the Kano Emirates. You can see that both of them hail from different local governments in Kano, but they share a common Fulani ethnic background and deep ties when it comes to political related matters, and also their profession, engineering, civil engineering cycles. And if you look at their age or their ages, Kwankwaso by now is 69 years. Kwankwaso by October, Kwankwaso will be 70 years. 70 years by October. And Abba Yusuf, currently, he is 63 years. Because I'm aware he was born sometime in January 1963. So you find out that the age difference is about 7 years. But I know also that both of them have marriage styles. Yusuf is married from Kwankwaso's family. So you understand this relationship. Yusuf, just like Nwosu and Richard Sekorocha, but in this case, Nwosu married Richard's daughter. Yusuf did not marry Kwankwaso's daughter, but he married from that family. So you can understand that the tie is strengthened by family ties and other things. Now, both of them, over time, when Kwankwaso became a member of House of Representatives, Yusuf followed him. Was his PA in the Second Republic. When Kwankwaso came back again as governor from 1999 down to 2003, Yusuf was his PA. In fact, at a point, he became his private or principal private secretary and later commissioner for works during his second term in office from 2011 to 2015, and later as his private secretary. So you can understand that they have been together for a very long time. And you could recall what you said in the intro, where Kwankwaso said when they lost the when the result of 2019 governorship election, I think it was on March 9, 2019, was declared inconclusive. Yusuf was leading based on results counted. But he said he took Yusuf to Supreme Court judges, their villages. Some reports in that interview said their homes.
To go and beg them.
To go and lobby them for a favorable outcome. That's a big indictment. We're going to talk about that. But he was just trying to share that as part of efforts. Some of the things he did to make Yusuf who he is today. But their problem started in late 2025. That was when the problem started.
So what was that issue? Is it the issue of who controls, who leads, who directs?
Exactly. It was a case of power struggle and autonomy. What is going on between Wike and Fubara? But in a different shape. Yusuf was aiming greater independence as governor. Some of his cabinet members were put in there by Kwankwaso. I remember he came from Kwankwasia political movement. So he's a product of that very political movement. And as a result of that, he's not the leader of the movement. The leader of that movement is Kwankwaso, who takes outright decisions. But as a governor, he was incapacitated. But not that he could not make some choices or could not make some decisions on his own, but he is limited to certain decisions. So he sought independence and he wanted to assert his authority as governor, as Fubara did. And then Kwankwaso on his own naturally would expect continued loyalty and influence over decisions when it comes to appointments, party directions, and most times when if anyone has issue with the governor, he runs to Kwankwaso, and Kwankwaso will call Yusuf against whatever he thinks. So Kwankwaso becomes unofficial mediator. So many of these people are subservient. They are more loyal to Kwankwaso than Yusuf, and no governor would want that. Exactly what happened in River State. Remember when it started, many commissioners resigned, and they were all populated there by Wike, and they were more loyal to Wike. Exactly the same thing. Exactly, just that Yusuf and Kwankwaso did not fight dirty like Wike and Fubara. So it was the same case. So if you look at so many people in Kwankwasia movement, when they were having this roughshod, many of them started saying that Kwankwaso, the movement will not allow Yusuf to continue in 2027. That was when Yusuf knew that if he did not do anything, and if this group says he may find himself shopping for a new political party at last minute.
So at this point now, we now return to that first question. So from what has played out so far, you think he betrayed Kwankwaso, or it was political survivor for him?
Yes, it was a betrayer. Yes, it was a political survivor too.
Okay.
Because he knew very well that there had been some subterranean moves to ensure he is dropped come 2027.
Now look at the pain that Kwankwaso has. He said that it would have been better for him if Yusuf had defected to the ADC than the APC. So what is it? Because ADC is the party of his political enemy, who is Umaru Ganduje, former governor of Kano State.
For sure, remember, if Yusuf had gone to ADC may not have that kind of structure to win 2027. The APC may not have that kind of structure in Kano State. And meanwhile, who would do that for Yusuf? Yusuf is not a political heavyweight. He knows that. So he will rely on a political party that has a structure. So if you are a featherweight as a politician, you need a heavyweight political party to survive. So if you're a heavyweight as a politician, you may need a featherweight political party to survive. So it depends on your capacity. I have said it many times. Yusuf is a featherweight, and all he cares and all he needs is a heavyweight political party for his survival in 2027.
So politically, you could say that he made the right choice.
A right choice for him, but it's a betrayal. Or judging by some of the things I have told you here. Remember, it was something that had happened over the years. You can imagine Yusuf from nowhere being appointed personal assistant in 1999. In fact, when he was a minister, he also appointed him as a personal assistant under Obasanjo regime. Remember, Obasanjo made Kwankwaso Minister of Defense. He appointed him as a private secretary, commissioner for works, a key portfolio during his second time as a governor, retained Yusuf as a private secretary after 2015, even when both of them were not in power, when he wasn't in power, because Kwankwaso was not in power from 2015 down to, in fact, till now. But he retained Yusuf and picked Yusuf as the Kwankwasia NNPP governorship candidate in 2019, even when Yusuf lost after the rerun election. So after the election, a lot of things happened. He said he took Yusuf to homes, villages of Supreme Court justices across Nigeria to lobby for support in legal battles, as revealed in his January interview. Now, so it tells a lot.
So what does sin say? Because this revelation that Kwankwasia made about, politicians going to the houses of judges that their cases are before them in the court, they go to their house. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. What kind of politics so that we are playing, whereby if I have a case in court, I can visit the judge who is superintendent over that very case. Where in the world is that kind of thing done?
There's no place, as I can tell you, Remember, this is not the first time we heard something like this. Remember, Senator Bakashiwa, during the farewell notes by senators, it was the ninth Senate. I remember him making such a statement. So he said that there were times cases either at the Supreme Court or for no reason. Remember, the wife at that time was the president of the Court of Appeal. And he said that the wife helped him in a lot. That we had some friends that could have some cases. But the wife, I'm just trying to, remember exactly how he put in that period. But he later recanted. But we knew very well that he did say that the wife helped out in so many legal battles they had at one point in time, either through his friends or the ones he had himself. So the wife, and now Pankwaso is saying that we went to Supreme Court justices' homes. That is a big indictment. Is a sign that truly judiciary is not independent.
Wow. And this is that the way these people make these revelations and nothing gets to happen, either from the NJC trying to question these very judges to find out who was involved and who was not involved, or from the point of agencies that are in charge of anti-corruption and things like that. Nobody gets to do anything to bring people to question why such things will go on, and they will leave as if nothing happened. Now, Tony, back to the issue of this very defection, because APC in the last time, as a last count, they've been having defections from PDP or even from other parties, people coming in, and the party is growing according to them. But at the same time, the party is not unaware that these entrances might also spell a gloom or a doom. Looking at the fact that when you have these very entries, the chances of explosion could be there. But APC always sees this defection as a plus to them, and for them, it appears like they are coasting home. They are already planning on how to coast home by 2027. So how do you look at these very defections? Do you consider them a boost for the electoral chances of the APC, or you think that this thing might eventually translate to what could be the undoing of the APC?
For me, it is a boost. There is no doubt. We cannot discountenance it. So, but the truth remains that these defections, because I have heard people saying the governors defecting, that they just have one vote. That, in fact, if you look at it, there are about 30 of these governors in APC. For the first time, we've not had a political party controlling about 30 states. We have 36 states. And we are aware that you can really count these governors by starting with the states they do not control. APC is not controlling Anambra State, but ABGA is in an alliance with APC. So if you count ABGA, it becomes 31. APC is not controlling Oyo State, but Makinde is giving terms and conditions. Once his terms and conditions are met, he's for APC. Now you look at Adamawa Fintiri, Governor Omaro Fintiri. He is not in APC, but we saw him with Wike the other time in London when Wike's son graduated from a master's degree program. We saw him. So he is also working for APC, Fintiri. Then you also look at the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawa. He is not in APC, but he is calculating and weighing his option. And possibly, you also look at the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, who has not told us if he will work against Tinubu or not. He is in spirit with Tinubu, and he has promised Tinubu that he will work for him. We are talking about the governor of Abia State. And finally, you can also understand the governor of Adamawa State. And we know very well that the governor of Adamawa State is just aggrieved. Once you meet his terms and conditions, he will work for the president. If you look at there are just 6 I mentioned now.
So what about the Bauchi governor?
That's what I mean. Bauchi governor.
Bala Mohammed.
Bala Mohammed. That's the one I'm talking about. Once you meet his terms and conditions, he would. So there are just 6: Zamfara, Bauchi, Adamawa, Anambra, and Oyo State and Abia State. These are 6. And if you look at these 6 of them that are not formally in APC, one way or the other, they have promised to work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but there are those who have attached conditions. 2 or 3 of them have attached conditions, and these 3 that have put in their terms and conditions, T&C, as we call it. Oyo has put out his T&C. You also have Adamawa T&C. You also have Bauchi T&C. So if you look around, the other 3 that have no T&C, you have Zamfara, Anambra, and Abia State. Anambra and Abia State, they are with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But you have Zamfara, who we have not known his own mindset. And when you say that these things are immaterial, but that's not true. Do you know why they are material? They are material because they have structures. Structures protect votes. Structures go vote hunting. That's what they call vote hunting, vote protections, vote defense. These are things, structures. These people have structures. They have people they will mobilize in thousands or hundreds of thousands to go and do these things and then ensure that it is the other way around.
Now, before we get to wrap up this very conversation on this defection, let's look at political parties. You know, how they cry foul each time they lose a member, and at the same time, how they contribute to the defection of these very members. If you look at the PDP now that is losing, the membership, look at an NMPP losing the membership, and each time anybody leaves, the person cites differences, intrigues, discrepancies, problems, crises in their parties for them leaving. Look at Yusuf. Yusuf cited the problem they have in the Kano chapter of the NMPP as a reason for him to defect. And one also acknowledged the fact that there are crises, but he said he asked him to stay put for them to find a way to resolve that very crisis. But each time these very, people leave the parties complain, but at the same time, somehow they engineer these very problems. Can parties actually reform so that they will be able to help to curtail all these defections we keep on seeing on daily basis?
I think political parties are there on a number of reasons, because you cannot vie for any position without being a member of a political party. So it's a vehicle for getting political.
So can we call political parties disposable cups, use and throw away? Because that's what it seems like.
That's not what the law actually conscripted it to be. If you say use and throw away, that's what politicians have made political parties to be. That's what they have made it. Disposable cup, anything disposable you can use and throw away, use and dump. But the law that provides for the establishment, the operation, the management, and the activities of a political parties do not situate political parties as use and throw away. So, for me, I have said many times, political parties, they lack internal democracy, they lack sometimes leadership. And that's why many of them try to put their personal interests above the political party's interest. Many of them do not have ideology. I have listened to some political commentators that say that if you look at APC and if you look at PDP, that PDP is center right and APC is center left. If you understand the political spectrum, and have situated that. But for me, I think that's not true. Most of these political parties are center right. They are all progressives, and that's what they preach. But some of them will come from the angle of the welfare of Nigerians, maybe the well-being of Nigerians, trying to attend. I look at what is going on between Daniel Bawala and Bolaji Abdullahi on X. I was actually looking at these two men. Who is Daniel Bawala, the special advisor to Mr. President of Public Communication? Who is Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson of APC. He asked Bolaji Abdullahi, what is your political party's ideology? And many times, and he said, you don't even know. That the last he was asked the same question, he said that they are going to unveil it. So you are going to unveil your manifesto. Your manifesto is masked, covered, veiled. So you are going to unveil. So then Bola started attacking Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson of ADC, that he doesn't even know the political ideology of his political party, but he was quick to go and publish a book, The Loyalty. So now Bolaji Abdullahi told him that their political ideology is anchored on the welfare and the well-being of Nigeria. He started laughing at him and said, oh, it was an afterthought. So how can your political ideology? So I was actually enjoying their banters.
Do you see Yusuf ending the way Rabiu Kwankwaso is thinking, saying that he's going to regret joining APC? Asking this very question because of, if you look at how things are, I'm thinking about how APC is going to manage all these interests that are aggregating in this very party. I'll give you an instance in Kano State. In Kano State, there are people who are in the Senate and who are in the House of Reps who have been working for the APC for a long time, and they all have governorship ambition. They are going to contest for 2027, and just like some of them did in some other states, some of them even pushed against Yusuf joining the party because they know that when he joins, of course, they might collapse the party structure into his hands and make him the leader as usual, and they might find a way to give him the leverage to pick up that governorship ticket. So all of them, they are all just watching. In Akwa Ibom, they are watching. In Plateau, they are watching. In Kano, they are watching. In other states where we have seen people leaving the APC, especially governors, leaving their parties and join the APC. So if eventually these very persons begin to, prop up their interest for them to contest for governorship, would you see Yusuf regretting why he joined the APC?
I have explained this before now. Yusuf is a featherweight politician, so he needed a heavyweight political party to survive.
What I'm asking, whether you see him regretting, is the fact that he joined the party because he wants to use the vehicle for second term. So by the time the interest in the party begins to widen, those people who have ambition will say, okay, I want to contest. I want to go and have the ticket. Eventually, he might not have the coast or that work cleared for him to go the way he wanted.
I think he was promised that.
So if eventually that happens, would he in any way regret his action by joining the APC?
If you listen to the Vice President Kachim Shatima when he received Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State some days back, he did say that these political leaders defecting to their party remains their leader, and he was mentioning state. He said Caleb Mutfwang is the leader of the political party in Plateau State, not even Nentewa Yewatda, not even the national chairman of the party, that the leader of the political party in Plateau State is the governor Mutfwang, who's just joined, and he called him 001. That's the language. 001 means you are number one. So the same thing he was saying, that he is from Borno State, but the leader of his party in Borno State is Governor Babakar Zulum. He is not the 001 in Borno State. So what is he trying to affirm? Trying to let the governors that these structures are in your hand. And Yusuf, having joined, is the leader of the political party in Kano State. He is 001. And most times, many of them who are going for second time, they have the right of first refusal. Governors, that's what most political parties do, unless there is an internal problem. Governors going for second time, they have the right of first refusal, just as the president has the right of first refusal. So that is the way most of these political parties structure their activities. I have said it many times that, in fact, these political parties, don't be surprised that one may call them special purpose vehicle, SPV, which is created for just one narrow objective: to win election. And that's what these political parties have turned to be.
Okay, so wish them well, but eventually, if they need a bucket to cry into, they should let us know. All right. Okay, so we go for a commercial break now. Once we return, we get to look at other issues we have this very morning on discussion.
Measles and rubella are deadly diseases. They spread fast, can cause blindness, brain damage, miscarriage, and sometimes death.
Every day, Nigerian children are at risk. But there is good news. The vaccines can protect your child. The Anambra State government will conduct a mass vaccination campaign for children 0 to 14 years from 4th to 15th February 2026 to protect children across the state from deadly diseases. Take your child 9 months to 14 years for the measles rubella vaccine today. Complete all routine immunization doses from birth. After the campaign, routine vaccination continues in all health facilities. Vaccines are safe, effective, and paid for by the government. Don't wait. Visit your nearest health facility or vaccination site. Leave no child behind. This message is brought to you by the Anambra State government and partners.
NEPA don take light again. Wetin I fit do? Every day fuel don cost. How person wan take survive? I go cook soup today, tomorrow e go sour.
My people, why you dey stress when the sun dey your head for free? Switch to the affordable solar energy wey Wascana Solar Company dey give small businesses and homes across Naija, whether na barbing salon o, restaurant o, supermarket o, or your 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. Wascana Solar get correct durable solar wey go serve you wella. No more NEPA wahala, no more expensive fuel. Let the sun power your business and home for free. And no forget o, solar fans, solar lights, everything dey available. Call Wascana Solar now for 0806 374 2374. I repeat am, 0806 374 2374 or send email to wascanasolar@gmail.com. Visit their office near Olive Relief after Marble Hill School Junction, Okpanam Road, Asaba, or Classic Line Zone 2, A4 Electrical Dealers International Market, Obosi. Wascana Solar, Okumube.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region, where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM, seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so thank you for staying tuned to that Radio 104.7 FM. It's 3 minutes past 10 a.m. We are glad to know that you are there listening to us. My name is Frank Nebuka, and you are listening to The Polity. I have with me Atuno Disambeki, in-house analyst, who has been giving you analysis on some of the issues we have raised this very morning. And we have to switch gears now. And of course, in Anambra State, it's no longer news that the governor of Anambra State announced that the main market on Onitsha is going to be closed for 1 week because they failed to resume economic activities on Monday. And as it stands now, many things have been heard ever since the governor made that declaration. And yesterday there was a press conference in Noka. Should I call that a word press conference, where he addressed lots of things? But what we want to do now is that because of the different narrative we have heard, in fact yesterday my dad called me and he was asking me, Frank, are you safe? I heard that Onitsha is on fire. That's what he told me last night. That he just called to make sure that we are safe. I said, Dad, of course, what you heard is all this propaganda that people have been pushing us. So because of lots of things we have been hearing, somebody telling you that Bridgehead is doing this is doing this. So our correspondent is in the field this very morning. He's going to be at different places so that he gets to give us a first-hand report from where he is. Let's get to know situation of things within this Onitsha environment. So by the time we link up with him, he's going to feed us in on this, so that you get to have a first-hand information regarding how things are in different parts of Onitsha environment. So we now have online our correspondent Benjamin Wara. Yes, good morning, Benjamin.
Yeah, good morning to you, Mr. Frank.
All right, so tell us where you are right now.
Currently now I am at the Onitsha famous head bridge, and I am there to see things by myself based on the circulation we have online. That yesterday the head bridge was blocked by the protesters or the demonstrators. But on reaching here right now, there is free flow of vehicles, free flow of pedestrians who are going about their businesses. The road safety officials are here. The CTU security officers are equally here. The police units are equally here. Things are moving very well.
Okay, so were you able to confirm if there was any development yesterday around that head bridge?
Yes, I asked one of the CTU officials here, and he said, unfortunately, he told me that he wasn't on duty yesterday, that they used to do shift by shift. So I tried to get this very text from the road safety official here, and they said the same thing. But I was persuading one of them to see if whether I can get something live from him, and he turned it down, though he was afraid. So, but from the passerby that I asked, they really made mention that some people here yesterday really blocked a vehicle coming inside Onitsha and the vehicle going outside Onitsha.
Okay, so at least for now, with that very report, we can cascade. Let's see what we get when you move from that very point to another location. So where would you be heading next?
Yeah, I'll be moving down now to the nearby market here to see if they are trading, if the business are open. So that will be in the next 5 minutes. So.
Okay, thank you, Benjamin Water, for the update.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so that was the update, and for now, we have to leave Anambra and talk about another thing before we get back to it, because there are other updates we are going to bring you. All right, so Tony, let's talk about other development, and this one is coming from a group known as the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria. Yesterday there was something they said about the INEC chairman, and they are calling for the immediate removal of the current INEC chairman, talking about Professor Joa Shamupito, and they have alleged that his continued stay in office poses a serious threat to the credibility of Nigeria's democratic process. And you might be asking yourself, why are they saying this? And they are saying that Muslims across the country would not recognize or legitimize any election conducted under the leadership of an INEC chairman whose integrity it claimed is under the cloud. Now look at what this very group is saying. They are saying that that Omopito should step aside based on a reason which they cited. Now they are saying that that there was a legal brief which was allegedly authored by the INEC chairman, and in that very brief, he claimed the existence of a Christian genocide in Nigeria, saying that that document had deepened mistrust and raised concerns about the impartiality of INEC chairman. So, Tony, how do you look at this development coming from this very Muslim group?
Everybody's entitled to his opinion, and that opinion is what they have expressed. My concern is they don't have any point from what they are saying. You are judging a man for his own opinion many years before he became INEC chairman, when he authored a book that cited Christian genocide, and for you wrap it up to conclude that you will not in any way accept any result that comes from his INEC, because he is the leader of the INEC. I'm aware that the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, I think it's Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs,
yeah,
or Sharia in Nigeria, I don't know.
It's the Supreme Council for
Islamic Affairs.
Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria.
Okay, they're the ones saying this.
Yes.
Because I know that Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria was established in 2000, and it was founded by a northern Muslim, I think Dr. Ibrahim Dati Ahmed, medical doctor from Kano. That was the person I'm aware that founded it. But it was on the context of the major push for Sharia implementation in northern states. Started in late 1999. We saw that. But I know very well that you have a more distinct Muslim interest. Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, which was founded much earlier, sometime around 1973 in Kaduna to unify Muslim groups nationwide, because that was the sole reason for Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. So they have positioned themselves as the more veritable ground for Sharia advocacy. So if you look at all this, for me, it makes no sense at all from what they have said. So you can't just say that somebody has an integrity problem because he expressed opinion times ago. And then for the fact that he made a suggestion that there is a Christian genocide in Nigeria, and they view it as very divisive, sectarian, and anti-Muslim propaganda. That is a way of showing bias against Muslims, and they roach trust in his impartiality. That's the thought. The question is there Christian genocide in Nigeria? Are there evidence? Are there facts? Are there material evidence we can point to and say, yes, this is actually the case? What happened in Kaduna on the 16th of January, is that not enough to tell them that there is Christian genocide? We are worshippers in different churches. We have Ekwa, Sherebun and Seraphim, and Catholic. They were abducted. They were kidnapped. What crime did they commit? Because they were worshipping on Sunday. The Supreme or the Nigerian Supreme Council for either Sharia or Islamic Affairs, whichever one, because we know we are dealing with two sister organizations now. What happened in Kaduna on 16th of January, is that not enough to justify, to buttress what Amor Payton suggested in the time past? Not something recent. And we have seen the kidnappers demanding 250 million naira for the release of these people that we abducted, and 20 motorcycles. So the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs should go and tell us the whereabouts of these victims. And they are not talking about the whereabouts, the welfare. They have not even come out to condemn the kidnapping. They have not condemned it. And I've been waiting to hear them to say that we in totality against the, they are concerned about suggestion shared by somebody in the time past. They are not really sensitive to the cause of this country, and they are not in any way showing some logical sense in their push. And people are still in captivity, and we've seen such genocide coming to fruition. All you could say, all you are interested in, is somebody who has suggested that in the past, that you, if you don't trust the outcome of his election or whatever result, who cares whose business it is? In fact, there are so many groups in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, you are part of the non-governmental organizations. When has your own opinion over, or a power or outlaid other opinions from different groups? Because we give you attention, because we listen to you. That does not take away the fact that you are just one of the NGOs. That is what it is. So they don't have any point. For me, they don't have any point.
All right, so let's talk about Diaz Madeke, former Minister of Petroleum Resources in Nigeria. Of course, we know how she was wanted in Nigeria and she fled to other countries, and now she's in UK and her trial has started. And they are saying that somebody funded her lavish lifestyle where she spent, millions of dollars on different things, just because the person wanted to bribe her to be able to have access to Nigeria oil. So how do you look at this very trial? Is this something that Nigerians should look up to and see how the trial ends?
We have seen a lot of trials. I think they help us to convict likes of James Ibori. And I wouldn't say Mado and other people for one thing or the other. Many of us have forgotten that such trial is still on. We have forgotten about that. But it was a quick reminder that the trial is still on. And we saw her. Many of us remember how powerful she used to be. She made a brief remark. I saw some journalists trying to get one or two extracts from her, but she rebuffed all of that and was accosted by those who followed her to court. But the truth remains that a lot has gone. A minister from 2010 to 2015. I think she was there for 5 good years as Minister of Petroleum Resources, and that was under Goodluck Jonathan, and she was the first woman to serve as president of OPEC from 2014 to 2015. So we saw the trial at Southwark Crown Court in London. The 5 counts of accepting bribes and 1 count of conspiracy to commit bribery. And there are other mentioned by some reports, but I will know very well that she's also standing trial alongside her brother Doye Agama and businessman Olatimbo Ayinde. I'm aware both of them are facing charges related to bribery. I also am aware of another businessman, Kolawale Aluko, who also is named in that allegation. So the trial, remember, began, I think, late January, because the proceedings are on January 27. And we've seen some delays, technical reasons, and so many things expected. But she has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Remember, she was arrested in London in 2015, granted bail, and the case has been ongoing for years, since 2015. 3 investigations by the UK National Crime Agency, that's because that's the prosecuting agency, UK National Crime Agency, and International Corruption Unit. They have been cooperating with the EACC, that is Nigerian Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. So we know very well that the prosecutor, Alexandra Halikesi, he told the jury that Alice Madeke accepted bribes from oil industry figures seeking favorable contracts with Nigerian state oil entities, primarily the NNPC. And this bribe, according to Alexandra Halikesi, allegedly funded a life of luxury in UK where she frequently stayed. Over £2 million, approximately more than 4 billion naira at current rate, was spent at Harrod Luxury Department Store. She went to that Harrod Luxury Department Store on a high-end items. She bought accessories, she bought a lot of things. In fact, she bought rugs from brands like Alexander McQueen. These things are stupendously costly. She made purchases using payment card linked to Kolawale Aluko and his company, Tenka Limited. Daisy and Madeke lived in luxury, multi-million pounds properties. She has a mansion outside London, bought for £3.25 million. And Aluko was the one that bought that mansion for her. Sometime around 2011, because she became the Minister of Petroleum Resources in 2010, the mansion she bought in 2011. That mansion alone had swimming pool on top. The mansion in question had a cinema room plus 4.6 million spent on refurbishment in London and Buckinghamshire properties. These people spent money. Frankly, they felt money. So she had other perks like £100,000 in cash. In fact, she has a private jet, flights, a lot of things. She has so many things. In fact, her own heaven was here on earth. But look at the argument of prosecutors. They argue that all these lavish, stylish, flamboyant, aesthetic lifestyle came from those who had come to bribe her from opaque and lucrative oil and gas deal. Most times, let me say this thing, I have to say this, apart from the fact that we are talking about this and this in America, I never wanted to talk about it. But the truth remains that most of people we have in position of leaderships, especially in public offices, do you know what sustained their flamboyant lifestyle? Bribery. People will come for one thing or the other, either for contract, either to make supplies, either to do this, either for promotion, either for this, for one thing or the other. Even if that agency generates nothing, creates nothing, but for one thing or the other, for the fact that it is sustained by public funds, they would want one advantage, one favor. Any favor you want is monetized. You'll be told the cost. And Aluko was the agent of Addison Madele, bought a mansion for her. But look at what Desian was saying, that those things were gifted. At no point she's asking, can you provide evidence that I accepted these bribes? Do you have any material evidence that saw where somebody brought someone in what account? So, but the prosecutor trusts Alexandra. Alexandra, he had went and got all the traces, bank deposits. You know, in Nigeria, you may have the amounts in UK. You must disclose the source. Most countries, once amount comes up in thousands of dollars or thousands, you must disclose the source. Nobody will remind you to go and disclose the source, and you must state everything in Nigeria. You can also have 100 million stashed in your car boot. Nobody talks and nobody queries. If anybody flags you down, give the person just one bundle. You are in peace.
Okay. This brings me to this very question about these are our anti-corruption agencies. What they are doing? What are they actually doing? You know why? The common man might not know the take home or the money take home of a minister in Nigeria. But this is not hidden from all these very anti-government or rather anti-corruption agencies. And we understand that in Nigeria, looking at the civil service rules, what have you not, not just civil service rule, public service rule too, you get to know that once any public officer begins to live beyond the person's means, there's supposed to be an eye on that very person, and also a question for the person to explain how he's been funding this very lifestyle. But sometimes in Nigeria, or even most times, these agencies get to close their eyes on this very thing. Maybe until when that person has a political problem, and then it is resurrected, and that is used to bring that very person down. Why is our case like this?
Institutional weakness. Institutional weakness. I've said it many times that even politicians who have influence on these institutions will use it as a political vendetta, even as against fighting corruption. When we build strong institutions, we bring strong people as against strong institutions. That's what is going on. Look at what UK authorities are doing. Can Nigerian authorities do this? If Desian were to be in APC and by now she'll be chanting, "On your mandate we shall stand." How many people who have sang that song? How many people have sung that very song that are free with their corrupt related cases? The point I'm trying to make is this. Some people think if you sing that song now, you are immune. Your immunity starts by the time you start singing on your mandate. But we have heard from the presidency and from the government that even if you sing that song, that you are not covered by any immunity, that you are going to still face corruption trials. Since likes of former governor of Delta State, Okowa, who is being tried for over 1.something trillion on laundry, 1.something trillion naira money laundering, and other people, since they have been singing that song. And let's see, I don't know if our own brother Ngige has started singing the song. I don't know, because immediately after the court-related issue, he went for a caucus meeting, and the song was sung. So the point I'm trying to make is this: that to tell you the nature, the beauty of what we have here, whether it's beauty or it's not beautiful, whether it's beautiful or it's not. But the point I'm making is we have broken institutions. There's no doubt. There's no game trying to pretend. We have broken institutions, and that's why we cannot even do what UK is doing. That's why likes of James Ibori will be declared not guilty by Nigerian courts, but UK court says otherwise. It's interesting to know how these things are panning out, but I must tell you that the UK's National Crime Agency, NCA, International Corruption Unit, would not bow to pressures from Prime Minister, from members of the House of Commons, from those even from the House of Lords, anybody. They will not bow to, because this institution has been there for a very long time. If these people are also involved, they will be dragged into it. That's building strong institutions as against building strong people. That's what we have.
Okay, also the other development in the polity, of course, today we are expecting the Senate to look into the Electoral Act amendment bill. Let's see whether they're going to pass it. Don't forget that House of Reps had passed that, but we are waiting for Senate, so that once it's done, it's going to be harmonized, and then it's going to be onward transmission to the president for his assent before we move into 2027 and during election. And yesterday we saw civil society organizations doing a protest to put pressure on the Senate for him to do what they're supposed to do. And now, so let's get back to the street because we have a Benjamin Ward online. Let's get to hear from him and know where he is now in Anambra State. So, Benjamin, you can hear me, right?
Oh, yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so where are you now?
Currently now, I am at the Coke Market in Obaru local government area of Anambra State. And from the situation so far, people are legitimately going about their business. And right here I have the vice chairman of the market who will definitely talk to you.
Okay, so let's get to know his name before he begins the conversation.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
Mr. Chukwumanwoye.
Okay, Mr. Chukwumanwoye. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Chukwuma, so can you bring us in? Can you hear me? Okay, so you are tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. Of course, you are listening to the Polity, and we're bringing you update from different parts of Onitsha. Let's get to have the feeling from the street. And don't forget that yesterday, the governor of Anambra State had a press conference where he reiterated his stance that he's determined to end sit at home in Anambra State. And he said his focus is not just on market. If you own a school, if you're into corporate world, that everybody has to join hands to restart the economy of the state. That's the only way we can make progress to me.
Well, I think if you are to judge by the statement credited to Governor yesterday, I had wanted maybe to play that, but the truth remains, I've always said this to our people. Today is what? Thursday. And we just have Friday and tomorrow, and that will be the end of the closure by the government of Anambra State. And let's see if things will pan out. There is a meeting today at the International Conference Center, Orca, where the governor is expected to meet every line chairman and the market leaders to have a kind of deliberation tete-a-tete. I saw some statements flying around where some people said that the governor has bowed down and that's why he has come for the meeting, but from the press conference we listened to yesterday, he even doubled down by charging that hospitals, schools that failed to open on Monday, their licenses will be revoked. That the laws that many people have been saying or have been shouting, show me the law will be shown to them. And once these things are revoked, they will be prosecuted, not just revoking them. And he said also that any shop, after this deliberation, after this plea, that fails to open from time to time, that the person's license for the shop will be revoked and it will be given to somebody who has or who wants to trade. And just like I've always said, I've written a lot of pieces, a lot of articles on this. I have written so many of these articles, and I have also said very time that it is somehow no government will fold its arm and watch things deteriorate endlessly. But people have said provide security. I've spoken to many leaders from different markets. I've spoken to so many of them. I spoke with those from Bright, Johnson, those from Sokoto Road. I have spoken to so many of them. You know what they told me? They told me that we are not in support of this criminally enforced sit-at-home. That's what they told me. That all we are asking the governor to do is to provide security. That's what they told me. That most of them that have shops, that have businesses, that it is not even palatable business-wise for them to close jobs and stay at home. And I've said many times, okay, have you people expressed this thought to the governor? He said that the governor does that. But you look at what the governor said yesterday during the press conference. He said that camps have been busted.
Okay, Tony, just hold on. We'll take this very report so that we can wrap up this.
Okay.
So our correspondent, Benjamin Mora. Benjamin, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I'll hand over the conversation to him.
Let him speak in Igbo if he can speak in Igbo too.
Benjamin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Frank.
Okay, so let's get to meet the market chairman.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good morning. Kedekimere.
Chief.
Okay.
So we are working, we are selling everything.
Okay. Unazafim was Monday.
Monday. Yes. From Monday to Sunday. I am every day by day. What do you name my and the pieces in my
So in Akawa na ntuziaka governor nyere na nwere ka ọ ga-esi wee nye unu nsogbu.
No, ntuziaka governor nyere. Governor na tazo bahaya. And I want Batagani Maya in Azubaya from Sunday to Monday, from Sunday to Monday. No problem. You can hide a repair in our bar market.
Okay. Dalurine. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Benjamin.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Frank?
Yes. Do you still have any other person there?
Yes, I have one of the, what's the name, sir? Mr. Onyeka Chukwuka.
Okay, is he a trader or what?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Are you a trader or a market leader?
Sir?
Are you a trader or market leader?
Yeah, I'm one of the market leaders.
All right, Kabaniru.
Okay, so
and I'm also a trader too.
Okay. So how have you been surviving on Mondays? How do you manage to go to market on Mondays?
No, we are surviving. We are going to our market on Monday. Every Monday we are in the market on Monday, and since about 2-3 years now, we are selling on Monday.
Actually,
we don't have any issue. We don't have any problem.
Actually, and when security as well from Monday, because someone in the and what of security, that's why they could not trade on Monday. That the governor has to prove.
I want a lot of security. I want security in Imaya. The security in Imaya, they are guiding us. I want Dogachi, security Dogachi in our market.
All right. So can even when you keep one door there as well on Monday, because there are other market places they don't open on Monday. So what do you have to tell them?
I will keep one door so on Monday, but we are going to get pension because now I na Monday.
Okay, so on different water. If we put our own security, that security can help or government but I can we made the arrangement.
No government now, government but our security.
Okay. All right. Dalurin there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Frank.
Okay, so Benjamin, thank you. I think we have to take it from here.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
I never knew that there is a market that opens on Monday. I thought there is none, but they have been able to clarify that. And yesterday, when the governor was making a statement, he says government owns market. For those who think that it's a private business, it's a private venture, he reminded everyone about market authorities establishment law of Anambra State 2024 that places every market under the government. So it's not a case or a question of it's my business, you won't tell me when to come out, I will know when to come out. And he says that it is a regulated ecosystem. Market is regulated, and government under that law has power to shut down markets if they do not abide by the regulations.
Okay, so let's go for this very commercial break. Once we return, we are going to open the phone lines and take your input on the issues we have raised this very morning.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Apache Chande to Zialo. Wendy's bread, Mama Papa they like Wendy's bread, Chichane Nyanduo. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, and in town. Wendy's bread, you get it better tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza, Atani Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Ọrịa arụbara na ọrịa osinikuku akpọrọ rubella bụ ọrịa ogbu na nwayọ. Ha bụ ndị nke na-agbasa ngwa ngwa ma bụrụ nke na-akpatara mmadụ ịkpụ isi, imebi ụbụrụ isi, atụ ọpụọ, ọtụtụ mgbe na-abụ ọnwụ.
Ụbọchị ọbụla nwatakịrị ụmụafọ ala Naịjirịa nọ n'ihe egwu mana enwere ozi ọma, ọgwụ mgbochi ga-echekwaba nwa gị. Gọọmenti Anambra Steeti bụ ndị na-achịkọba ọrụ ịgba ọgwụ mgbochi malite n'ụmụaka ndị a mụrụ ọhụrụ wee ruo n'afọ 14 nke ga-amalite site n'abalị 4 ruo abalị 15 nke ọnwa February afọ 2026 iji wechekwaba ụmụaka nọ n'ime steeti a pụọ na ya bụ ọrịa ogbu na nwayọ. Kpọga ụmụaka gị malite n'ọnwa 9 wee ruo n'afọ 14 maka ịgbagha ọgwụ mgbochi nyere ọrịa arụbara na ọrịa osinikuku akpọrọ rubella tata. Gbaa ụmụaka gị ọgwụ mgbochi ndị a niile malite n'ụbọchị a mụrụ ka. Ọ bụ na agbachanya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi ndị a ga-agakwa n'ihu wee na-agba ya n'ụlọ nlekọta ahụike niile e nwere n'ime steeti a. Ọgwụ mgbochi a dị mma ma na-alụ ọrụ gwogo. Ọ bụkwa nke a kwụrụ ụgwọ ya site n'aka gọọmenti. Nya bụ echenekwa ka agwa gị gaa n'ụlọ nlekọta ahụike ọbụla dị gị nso ma ọ bụ n'ebe a na-agbanya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi. Abrapụkwana nwa gị n'akụkụ. Ozi a si n'aka gọọmenti Anambra Steeti na ndị ha na-ejikọtara aka n'ọrụ ịgba ọgwụ mgbochi.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, you're listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. My name is Franklin Lebekanda. It's time for us to open the phone lines to take your input. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. And just even to draw this very information, yesterday P2B was in Zuba, FCT, where he campaigned for ADC candidate for the FCT local council election, and I saw the electrifying crowd, that came out for that very campaign, and people have been reacting to that, saying what that means for ADC. So let's go to the phone lines now and take your input. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Good morning, my chief speaker, Tolio Lisambeki.
You're welcome.
The voice of Honorable is Mayor Okuchukume Okulola. Can I go on?
Yes, you can go on.
Yes, thank you very much. You people did a very wonderful job this morning, more especially we had how things are going in places in Onitsha. Yes, yesterday I witnessed closure of hate speech. Not that they say, I witnessed it my very self. So there is something like that. It happened. Then, about the way things are going, like Ziani and all the corrupt people that are stealing our money, like told you that is weak institution that is causing it. That is true because I knew. Yesterday, I was listening to Alin Jume on television. He was talking about this tax reform. The person that is in this program asked him a very wonderful question. When he asked him, when you want to appropriate a bill about releasing money for the soldiers, you people go on to know whether the money is being released or not. He wanted to dodge the question, but at the time when this guy placed him to the wall, he opened up and said, the point is to appropriate, and the people that we pay. But the man asked him, you know whether the money is being given to them? He opened up and said that they don't normally follow it up. And that is where the problem lies. That is where the problem of Nigeria lies. You can't use money to a person to do a job. You cannot follow it up to see. You want to say that the money may be released, but not on the appropriate time. Why like that? So this is the problem we have in this country. So I want to plead to the people of Nigeria, even my very self and you people in the radio, we have to be asking, this money has been signed for this job. Why has the job not been done? Yes, this is the problem we have. Then Soludo with the market people, I want to ask him, please, take this issue of Monday case very, very with wisdom, so that we don't have problem in the state. We don't want to have problem. Nothing now, like these people that are closing roads, the army will start shooting gun on them. We will lost life on this.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining. Good morning.
Good morning, my speaker.
Good morning. Your name?
You're welcome.
Good morning, Franklin. This is the voice of Honorable Gracious Okoye from our Richard Kingdom.
Okay, go on.
For the onset of closing this money market, I'm not happy with our people. Why are we behaving like cowards? You see, you go to Abakaliki, their school, their trading. Even in our area, but people are not coming to them. I don't know why in Anambra here, especially Audita and Nimnew, what Trudeau is doing is a nice thing. They may not understand what the man is trying to do. And he said to use this method. People have acclimatized themselves on Monday market, on Monday start. Now people are using it for business, for another thing, another big meeting, another thing. And you have been doing something for 5 years. You know, you did anything from the federal government. Government has been holding our brother. Why are you still doing the same thing? The freedom fighters in the South Africa did not fight against their people. They don't close market. The person slap you or curse you when he went home. He stopped giving your children food. Is it wise? Look, and I heard those who are saying, see the people come kill. Are you promoting them? Are you trying to come and kill? Anybody who has said that we are still hearing that the people come and kill, that person is a stop poor.
All right. That should be enough. All right. Okay. So let's not attack persons. Okay. So it's good that we can differ, express our views, but let's not go that very way. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Yes. Good morning. Your name?
Good morning, Chief Doctor Dim Tony Obuna.
You're welcome.
I am good Dim Ezia Pakego, warming the airways from Osumuru.
Go on.
Yes. Thank God for the revelation by Pankwaso. I never knew that Supreme Court judges could be visited so that they can compromise justice. Oh, a pity for this country, Nigeria. How can such a thing happen in a serene environment? Judges being visited by night to what justice, and we are looking forward to progressing, to having the blessings. With all these impunities being committed by our rulers, oh, it is a pity for this country. And right from that, the Northerners are threatening, never going to accept the results as announced by election conducted by Army Peter. It's unfortunate too. You see, that is the reason why Nigeria can never ever move forward. With this arrangement of cat and rats living together, I wonder what Nigeria is up to. It's unfortunate. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
All right. Okay. Thank you for your input. Okay. All right. Hello. Good morning. Okay. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, brother.
Good morning. Your name?
My name is Sunday, calling from Awana.
Go on, Mr. Sunday.
Good morning, Mr. Dr. Mbeki.
You're welcome.
My take is on this issue of Soludo and market in Anambra State. To be sincere, no one is against any policy or any system that will help Anambra State or Southeast economy to grow. But let this thing be rolled up. And mainly if the community can understand some voices of we must. You cannot put the cart before the horse, and the horse will be able to move the cart. Impossible. So rather you put the cart behind the horse. This is a common English all of us know about system of doing things. So if he has been with a mind to make sure that things are moving in Anambra State, for the economy of this state to push, and for his administration to do some things, like you're supposed to have a formal arrangement, which is supposed to be one of the things he's doing today. You have all the conference. Now, plan how to organize it. That people will have confidence that if they come out on Mondays for business, there will be no harassment. Now, it's not all about coming to market on Monday. People who will be coming from far and near to Anambra State, Onitsha, to buy. Which kind of assurance are you giving to them that if they are coming across borders of states and communities, that nothing will happen to them? Not people to go to market on Monday and be in the market, and nobody go from Asaba, nobody go from Owerri or other places to go and buy. So these are the major points that many traders are raising about this issue. Security assurance, both of those who are coming to buy and those who are now in this state. So that is what I want to make in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Let's see who we have next here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Chidi Chukuma joining you from Bomi.
Go on, Mr. Chukuma.
Good morning to you, Dr. Tunis and Franklin.
You're welcome.
Yes, I must commend you for your effort. That incident report is very, very necessary. Yes, when they talk of perishable items and they are doing their normal business, it is everywhere, even here in the Mbo market. Those people that sell the perishable in all people, they're always there, unharassed, unmolested. But when we look at the things that's going on, these issues of citadel, the most important thing is, unless if we continue to fight the shadows and not the necessary thing or the cause of the matter. Because if you look at it in the way, so the power belongs to the people, and that is what is going on. Does it mean that the people cannot take decisions, especially when it is lawful for them to do so? You talk of economic problem, or that is economic sabotage. Then something that they do for only once because already so many people are saying it that Nnamdi Kanu has been deserted. And now that you want to nail it, when this sit at the room finish, then the issue of Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra will become a thing of the past. It is impossible. If you want to address the whole thing, look at the whole course of the matter. The sit at the room.
Right.
You govern policy when you proscribe Biafra, and also when you designate it as a terrorist organization, you are the cause of the whole matter.
All right, thank you.
The issue of
Thank you, Chukwudi Chukuma. Thank you for understanding. So let's go to our Facebook page so that we'll be able to finish the post we have there. And Sebastian Abigwe is he posted from Obago to Mainan in the federal constituency of Enugu State, and he says the defection of Yusuf, the Kano governor, to the ruling APC is just business as usual. And he says, well, to some of us, it could be a betrayal of the Kwankwasia movement, but to me, it's not. And to those that could term it as a betrayal, they fail to understand that the Kwankwaso in the first place betrayed the people of Kano by imposing a candidate of his choice because of his personal interest. No doubt, days are gone when citizens decide, rather it is now the godfathers who decide. And a very unfortunate, Nigerian election is the type where the winners are known before the election day. Then Comrade Henry Lu from Show Light on Onitsha says the stance of Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria is baseless and doesn't hold any water. When the former president appointed Pantami as minister, and when he was further shortlisted by IMSU for professor, Nigerians, mostly Christians, cried out that such a questionable character that played active role in the Kano Christian-Muslim crisis in 2001 should not be made a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talk more of being a professor. Those agitations were turned down with arguments that the statements or actions of someone shouldn't be held against him after over a decade and in a repentant robe. Then Arinze Ijimbwe, I am from Ibarem Fan Settlement. He says the governor of Anambra State should find a solution to this protest that is ongoing at Onitsha before it will claim someone's life. He must, as a matter of urgency, call the chairman of those markets to round table meeting and to reopen the market. Okay, so like we mentioned that there's a meeting between the governor and the market leaders in Anambra State today at International Conference Center in Oka. Dr. Mrs. Molebra from Owerri State says Nigerians must resist dictatorship, impunity, executive rascality, injustice, nepotism, exploitation, and undemocratic practices. Let's speak out against evil, as we can no longer be guilty of quietness and numbness. Enough is enough with unwholesome practices. Retract Obiawi Kechoko from College of Education in Suwa says, I emphatically disagree with Tony Odisa on the analysis of the governors that are supporting Tinubu and how it will lead to his success in those states. No amount of people and governors standing with Tinubu in the southeast will make him win any southeast state. To a large extent, ethnicity and rigging will determine the outcome of the next presidential election. In the case of Anambra, the governor cannot influence voting pattern in the presidential election. Last one was a typical case. Quite agree, but the issue there is because when we use Anambra, when you use southeast as a reference point, it could be jaundice because the way Southeast has been over the past elections, you can predict that come 2027, this is where the Southeast is going to go. But the thing is, how significant would the vote be in comparison to other geopolitical zones in the country? Then also Francis Omaga Namani says he's watching from Amagunze in Enugu State, and he said National Assembly should expedite action on electoral amendments to ensure credible and transparent polls in subsequent elections. Ugochukwu Daily from Magazine Nuku, okay, thank you for following. Oluchichima says the man in the market on phone said that they have security dogachi provided by the government to protect them. My question is, why can't the same government provide the same security of dogachi or Agona Chamber to main market and every other market for protection? Why providing for some and leaving some unprotected? Is it not the same tax that we all pay to the government? Then yes, let me say this. maybe we also have to ask market leaders. Governor yesterday he said that there are 150 security personnel attached to my market. He said it yesterday. So, and he said in the coming days he's going to find out why. Okay, he's going to find out what they have been doing, if they have been doing their job or not. Okay, so then Ekegona says it's time Professor Ludo calls off his security agencies deployed to chase the masses away from their shops. Kevin C, thank you for watching. Then Uchenna Fidelis, thank you for following. And he says, how do you see someone's plaza and individual shop owners because they didn't come to shop? Everyone has his or her own engagement. Mazungo Richie Pradorum, I would have gone ahead to read yours now, but time is against me. But we thank you for the post you made, and two other persons who dropped their post here. Thank you all for the input. So Tony, you heard people's reactions, so I think we have to summarize from that very point.
I think we need enlightenment. Somebody was asking, how can you sell somebody's plaza? But that plaza was built in a space designated as a market. Government controls that. Any space called market, government controls it. We have Anambra State Market Authorities Establishment Law. Government controls every space that is designated as market, and the governor has an oversight. If government can sue bank, these banks that from time to time for one breach or the other, if they breach any regulation of the state, government goes on to seal banks. If government can seal bank, you did not question such sealing, but you're questioning somebody's plaza. Is bank, are they not private businesses? Are they owned by government? Let's be enlightened a bit. And I want to also say that the governor said that the security attached to main market about 150 is a good question. It's time for introspect. I'm just pleading with our people. Today is Thursday. Before you know it, it's Friday, Saturday. We come back on Monday and trade. This issue will be buried. And for the struggle, Nandekano, it will not be forgotten. I remember when Nelson Mandela was in prison for 25 years or 26 years, writing Franklin. South African people never imposed sit at home weekly basis for Nelson Mandela. He became the president later. Can we learn from the apartheid government that was seen to be haunting the people? You can see occasional walk away, occasional boycott from time to time, once in 3 months, once in 6 months, and it was time bound for symbolic reasons. Not every week sit out. It's pure economic sabotage. I have said it many times. And for what governor has done, I would be interested in the deliberation today. Whatever grievance, whatever the people at the market believe he's not doing, they should tell him today. They are going to meet him face to face. Provide this for us, provide it. There are those that will use this opportunity to tell him we don't have sanitation, we don't have this, we don't have firefighter. Anything you think you don't have, tell governor straight away. Don't come back here and start complaining. Tell him that we don't have this. If there are things you believe that should be done in the market, use the same opportunity to tell him. So we follow it up and ensure that these things are done. There is no other people that love you most than us. We will tell you the truth, tell you what is right.
Okay, so on that very note, we thank you for joining us on today's conversation. Tomorrow we're going to be there. We're going to be here. My name is Franklin Nebuka. Good morning.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM.